Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
You kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games, don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
See, son, old legends never die. They just lose weight.
He's like a legend and an out-of-work bum with a lot of life.
Hello, you crazy dirt fucker!
Party time!
Yes, it is party time. Hello, Las Vegas. I'm still getting used to saying Las Vegas because the show originated in Hollywood for 8.5 years. So, hello, Las Vegas. Hello, world. Hello, my loyal minions. It is good to see you, and it's always good to be seen. I'm Izzy Presley, and this is another fucking podcast coming to you live from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, straight across from the Strip. In studio, I got my good pal Mike Merryfield, who I cannot believe I have never had on the show. And
Am I allowed to talk?
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't know if somebody came out and tased me or something. If I talked too early.
No, I got Brad Williams back there in a little jumpsuit.
Well, I'll behave then. I'll behave. Yeah, I don't know why we never did it. I mean, I've known you forever. I've hung out with you in Vegas a bunch of times, but I don't know why you didn't. You could have brought all this shit to my place too. I don't know why I had to come over here. I mean, that was the other thing I was thinking. You could just bring all this shit over there.
Fat and lazy.
All right. Well, so am I, but I was expected to travel, which I did.
Well, I'll tell you what. I will get you home safe and sound.
But part of the problem is when I'm in Vegas, I always you're actually lucky I'm here. I was thinking of reasons sort of at the last minute to think like why I couldn't make it, because that's the kind of guy I am. I don't want to leave. I don't want to go anywhere, and especially this week I'm working at the LA Comedy Club, so it's really hard to actually leave the premises and come back. But that's how much I like you that I decided to do it.
That's sweet. That's real sweet. And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of thinking of ways to get out of it too. Because my hangover was killing me today because I accidentally may or may not have gotten drunk last night.
You could have easily, as a comic, I would have never been offended because comedians, we do it all the time. Every night, like after shows, like we're with the other comics and we're like, oh, let's go to lunch tomorrow. Let's fucking go play Frisbee. Let's do all this shit tomorrow. And we're all like, yeah, let's do it. And then the next morning, everyone like all at once is like, hey man, I'm not gonna, and we think of excuses. So I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what happened.
I don't know. I don't know why either.
I think I lost the bet.
I am happy you're here though. Thank you for coming over. Like I said, we have known each other a very long time, back from St. Cloud.
Yep, at
the station.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing because I was just doing like a one-nighter in the middle of nowhere. And it's funny, like you were there because you worked for the radio station that kind of hosted the comedy night. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And then your buddy was actually hosting the show. Like one of your coworkers from the station was actually hosting the stand-up show, correct?
Right.
Yeah. You didn't actually go on stage that night, did you?
No, I did not.
I just remember I met you were in the back of the room and I just started talking to you before the show even started.
Yeah.
So I believe that's when it happened.
Yeah. But it's because I was on the radio on Rockin' 101 and we sponsored the comedy night at Benton Station, and our morning guy Aaron Imholt wanted to get into comedy, and it's like, boom, this is the perfect way to do it. Yeah. You host the show.
And did he use it as a bid on his show, on his morning show?
I think so.
Like if he cared enough about his listeners, he would have recorded some of his sets. And I mean, that would have been a good bit.
He never did that because he was kind of dirty.
Yeah,
he was kind of dirty a little bit, but not over the top dirty.
You
not
30 seconds clean for your show the next day, can't you? I mean, it's not like
you would think so.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, because right now nothing would make me happier than getting a morning radio show. I live in Appleton, Wisconsin, which is like it's technically a Green Bay radio market.
Yeah.
And there's a rock station that's been there forever. It's 105.7. It was WAPL. It's been there forever. And they had this morning show, the Rick and Len show, for years. And Len ended up getting fired, but they've pretty much been the morning show since I was in high school, and I'm 50. And one of the guys is still there. His name's Rick, and he's brilliant, man. I think he's one of the funniest guys ever. But hopefully he dies soon so I can have his show. Like I'd really love to get his spot. But that nothing would make me happier than being a morning DJ in a medium-sized market, like my home market, obviously, where I live, and I can see my kids. And then I know I could do a great morning show. I've done morning radio before, so I mean, I know I could do it again. And being able to promote shows in my hometown and get like every day, just whore myself out on 120,000 watts would be baller. So that's what I'm looking to do.
Yeah, dude. I mean, how did you end up? Because you were in Wisconsin,
Yeah,
and then you went to Nashville, and now you're back in Wisconsin again.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, I got a job with a record label, which is a crazy story how that even happened. But I ended up working for this really rad comedy record label, 800 Pound Gorilla Records. And actually, it's 800 Pound Gorilla Media now because we have, several record labels under the umbrella now.
Right.
But I just started editing, doing little editing jobs for them. And now I edit and produce most of the, I shouldn't say most of the records, but a lot of the records that we produce. I work with another record label called Clown Jewels.
Okay.
And they take all of the old stuff from like the 80s, the Evening at the Improvs, Stand Up. I think Caroline's Comedy Hour, we did some of that.
Wow.
Full Frontal Comedy, we did that. So basically they send me all of the video and I pull all of the audio and I get to make albums out of it. I get to do like best of albums out of them after I take out all the slurs that aren't good by 2022 standards, 2023 standards. But yeah, so I love it, man. And to me, that part's like I get to be a historian. I did a bunch of roasts. I'm about to start doing some more roasts. Like I edit all these old roasts. I turn them all into albums and stuff, and it's great, man. I feel like a lot of this stuff people would probably never hear if we didn't take the time to acquire the catalogs and divvy them up in the way they are.
Well, it's so funny because you as a kid, you remember seeing all that stuff and you just kind of forget about it.
Bro, you don't even understand full circle, man. Because like when I was about 12, 13, 14 is when I decided I wanted to do comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I decided I wanted to do it, but I was in love with it because it was everywhere on TV. There's just that huge boom where all of these shows,
the MTV half-hour comedy hour,
all the ones I just mentioned were on. Literally, like that was the birth of cable. Cable had just started, and every network needed to have their own stand-up show. So it became saturated, and they kind of killed it. But that's what I grew up watching, and I always thought, well, that'd be dope. That'd be cool to do that. But I never thought I would do comedy. And then a comedy club opened in my hometown, and I ended up becoming a comedian, and that's how all of that started.
How did the first time you went on stage? Do you remember?
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't have any jokes. I had jokes, but I wasn't ready.
Right.
So the night before, I was at the comedy club in Appleton, Wisconsin, and I said that like that on purpose, by the way.
Of course.
And I was just telling this comedian from Milwaukee, Brian Green. To be honest, we were hanging out smoking weed, and I always thought it was so cool that I got to, because I was working at the comedy club as a doorman. Yeah. Well,
that's how a lot of people get in, though.
Mm-hmm. And it just so happened, like a friend of mine happened to start managing the club, and then eventually bought into it and was half owner of the club. I wish I could say. And then a comedy club opened up and I ran down and got a job there. It was like totally by coincidence. And then while I'm there and I'm thinking like, man, I always wanted to do this. And then my friends would start to tell me because, we'd be hanging out partying and I was kind of always funny in conversation. And they started telling me like, why aren't you trying to do comedy? Why don't you try to do it? And they told me, anyway, and I was like secretly thinking about it. And then I just made the mistake of telling this dude from Milwaukee, Brian Green. I was like, hey man, I was thinking of doing comedy. I was thinking of trying it out. He's like, all right, well then you're doing it. And I'm like, yeah, man, I know. Like one of these days I'm going to put together 5 minutes and he's like, hey, shut the fuck up. You're doing it. We just decided you're doing it. You're going up tomorrow. We don't have an MC. So you're going to go up tomorrow and host. I was like, man, just hang on a second. Like this was just an idea. I'm just telling you this is an idea. I'm not ready to go up. He's like, quit being a bitch. Like you're going up. And he literally had to walk behind me the next night and kind of like, because I kept trying to back out.
Push you on stage. Go. You're up. There's no backing out now.
And I had no jokes prepared or whatever. So but the owner, my buddy that owned it, gave me a sheet of paper with the announcements that they would give the MCs to read about fill out the comment cards and this and that and buy the fucking nachos or whatever. It was just announcements. That's all he goes, just say this, just go read this. And then, that's all you got to do. And I was like, all right, I could probably do that. I was fucking terrified, dude.
Of course.
Like when we had to do like speeches in school, like you never seen anyone more nervous. I did not want to really do it. Like I was a puss if it wasn't for this dude, Brian. And so I go on stage with this full-size sheet of paper, and I'm obviously nervous. I'm shaking. You can actually hear the paper shaking through the microphone, like through the PA system.
That's awesome.
So not only am I visually nervous, they hear like crinkling paper with me shaking, and it was ridiculous. And I just like muttered through the announcements. And then there was just like a pause, and I just said, well, obviously I'm not funny, so I'm going to bring up someone who is. And they fucking laughed at it, dude. And it was like, oh, he knows he's terrible. Like it was
yep.
You later on I realized that I hadn't said anything funny. I thought maybe I was sounding witty, but it was just a relief. Like, oh, he knows he's shit. He knows he's uncomfortable. It was an acknowledgement, but so I got a response basically. And I'm telling you, dude, if they wouldn't have responded like that, I don't think I would have ever gone back up. I don't think I would have had the balls to do it again because it was so terrifying. But once I felt that, like, it was like, I mean, stand-up comedy is better than any drug, dude. I've done.
I know.
I'm not ashamed either way. Who gives a fuck? I've done most of the drugs, and stand-up comedy is better than all of them. It wins every time.
Yeah, because that rush, that high you get from people laughing.
It's not. It's more than that, man. It's not just a high from people laughing. It's a control thing, man. I'm never in control.
That's a good point.
I'm never in control in any other part of my life. Like, we don't even need to go into my fucking backstory, but it's not great, and neither is most people's, you know. But with stand-up, I can be in control. Like, I run that fucking room. Like, I'm doing the talking. You know what I mean? You have to listen to me, and it's like the only place in my life I've ever felt like that. I've never felt like I could say anything anywhere else and anybody would give a shit, because they pretty much don't.
Well, that's also part of the nerve-wracking part of it too. Is like they're forced to listen to you. You're the one with the microphone.
It's a lot of responsibility,
it is.
right? But I said this last night to one of the other comics on the show is I don't do this for the audience. Like, I've figured that out about myself. Like, I don't do it for them. I don't do it because, I mean, it's nice that I make people feel good and I make people laugh and I create endorphins in people, and, laughter's healing. All that's great. But I only do stand-up to keep getting better at stand-up so I can keep doing stand-up. For me, it's a drug for me. And I know it's a drug because it ruined my marriage. It's kept me away from a lot of my kids' events. Like, there's a lot of things in my kids' life and my family's life that I don't get to see because I'm out doing stand-up comedy. And back in the day, like, I was doing 48, 50 weeks a year, so I was
everywhere,
living out of my minivan for a couple of years, and just like I really sank everything into this, so it's like a drug. I mean, it really is, man. It is. It fits the entire, the only difference is I get paid to do it.
Yeah,
it's the only drug I get paid to do it. Sometimes they even give me free drinks.
That's always a bonus too.
So and they give you a hotel room, and for a kid that grew up with no money, like, you're gonna get me a hotel room? Like, wow, this room costs like $100. You know what I mean? And I'm still like that to this day. Like, it doesn't take much.
Oh, dude,
but that's why I like Vegas, because in Vegas I get treated better,
right?
Without having to ask for it, because I don't want to ever ask.
And you don't have to drive to Sheboygan through a snowstorm.
I mean, like, I've done that so many times. I think about how many miles I've put on. I mean, it's over 1 million, easily over 1 million miles, driving all across America, all across the Midwest, back and forth, up and down. I mean, I've gone through like 7 or 8 cars that I've put hundreds of thousand miles on each one. But I don't know, like, when I retire, I'm not going anywhere, man. Like, that's the one thing that COVID taught me, is when I got to stay home for like 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, I was like, damn, this is kind of nice. Like, if I could figure out a way to make money at home without having to go do stand-up. But and I was taking stand-up for granted, man. Prior to COVID, I was just like, I would get I'd be upset when I had to go do gigs. Oh, I got to go to the Looney Bin again in Tulsa. Like, God damn it, that club always makes me feel sad. But I need the money, and it's what I do or whatever. And then it went away with COVID. And I never thought it could go away, dude. In a million years, they always it's recession proof, dude. Liquor and entertainment are recession proof.
Yeah, it's something that is needed.
It's literally, I mean, and why would I ever thought it would go away? I mean, I was 25 years in when COVID happened. There's no reason for me to ever expect it to be taken away, but it got taken away. And my entire identity for 25 years was being a comedian. That's who I am. If you're an NFL football player, you're a football player. If you're a UFC fighter, you're a fighter. But how long are you a comedian? How long after you haven't done the thing can you keep calling yourself the thing? And it really made me look at myself and it really made me just realize that I fucking took it for granted for a long time. I treated it too much like a job. And like I said, I would get upset when I had to go do gigs. And it's I didn't realize dude, they're paying you, not a lot, but they're paying you to do the coolest fucking thing ever. And, and so now I have to remind myself that I got a way better life than most people by accident. I get paid to make people laugh. So I'm pretty sure making that many people laugh, that'll probably get me into heaven, regardless of the other shit I might have done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I might have done some bad shit, but I also made hundreds of thousands of people laugh. And,
well, it's dude, Bill Hicks, late great Bill Hicks had that great line. I love my job. I love the hour.
Yeah.
But
who else? I just heard another quote by someone else that said, they don't pay us for the hour we're up there. They pay us for the 23 hours getting there, flying there, writing. Right. So that's
writing material. How often do you write every day?
No, I'm so lazy, dude. I probably would be a way better comic if I tried to be disciplined, but I'm the worst, man. Usually, I mean, a lot of times, my real life gets in the way, and I can't. It's hard to write because I got so much crazy shit going on. And like I said, prior to COVID, I treated it like a job. So I was kind of one of those. I don't want to say I was became a road hack, but I had a select chunk I would do most places, and I wasn't really evolving much. I don't know. I guess it gets stale after a while, but now, I'm telling you, man, I enjoy every second of it. I look forward to it. I like to live completely in the moment. I like to really just immerse myself in it and be one with the audience and feel that energy and, a bunch of shit that I lost sight of. There's the reason I wanted to do it at first, because it was and again, it's back to the power thing, man. To be able to control 250 strangers and make them do something that's involuntary, laugh, makes me feel good, man. I've never had control in any other way, shape, or form in my life ever.
Have you noticed your performance change since you had that epiphany?
Yeah. So I guess this answers your first question, is how I write or whatever. But I'll just have ideas. I'll just think of something it's so. Have you seen me? I don't think you've seen it yet, but I just do this bit now about. This is probably not the forum to try it. But I just say that my front hurts. I just go, hey guys, cut me some slack tonight. My front hurts.
Yeah, you did that last night. Yeah.
Okay. Did you? Oh yeah, I did see it. Okay. Yeah. So it's my front hurts bit. And the whole bit is just that you've never heard anyone say my front hurts. And it's the entire audience all have that realization at once. No shit. No one ever says their front hurts, but they say their back hurts. And you don't ask any questions when they say their back hurts. But when they say their front hurts, you ask more questions. So it was really just, I had hernia surgery and I was laying on the couch and somebody asked how I felt. And I said, my front hurts, because my front hurt because I had fucking hernia surgery. But I was I don't think I've ever said that before. I don't think anybody said it in that context. And honestly, I mean, I like the joke or whatever, but I realize it's kind of something that it's very Brian Regan. And Brian's I'm a super Brian Regan fan.
I know this. Yeah.
I try real hard not to sound like Brian Regan, but that is a joke that Brian Regan would write. That's a joke that he would do. I try not to sell it the way he would sell it because I realize that, but it's as I'm doing it, I'm this is a joke, because he would find it's just nuances in language and little silly things.
I think sometimes you have to do that though, but you do it to pay homage to those that do it
on purpose. That's the way it comes out of me being funny. And it's the hardest part about stand-up. Everybody talks about you got to find your voice and all of that. But my friend Mark Ryan and I talk about this all the time. Is we came into it early 90s, mid 90s. So it was after that big boom of the 80s. It was after the TV boom. It was after all of that stuff. And not many people were coming out to the clubs. And the only comics kind of left in the clubs at that point were kind of shitty comics. Like, I'm not, no disrespect to any of the comics I worked with, but if you were still doing the clubs at that point, you obviously, Hollywood had no interest in you. You know what I mean? And that's not all of them. And some of them started after all of that. But it just seemed like everything. I completely lost my train of thought on that.
No, but like I was saying, but sometimes you have to deliver. Like it's like my Happy Days joke. If I tell that joke straight, did I tell you this joke last night? My Happy Days joke that I have to tell as Norm.
Yeah.
Because if I do it straight, it just sounds like a dumb dad joke. But if you do it as Norm, and you say, and
now you're doing an impression of another comedian, and no one's ever really done that, other than like Frank Caliendo. Caliendo's done a little bit, but there was always been this discussion as to, like, we were talking about music a little bit before, how everybody hacks styles, everybody hacks, all of everything's stolen, everything's been molested, but we don't do it in comedy. If somebody got up and sounded exactly like Dave Chappelle, we would all go, "Hey man, you sound exactly like Dave Chappelle. You should fucking probably not do that."
Yeah.
Like, we already have a Dave Chappelle. Like, there was after Dane Cook, there was a bunch of guys that were very Dane Cook-ish. After Dave Attell got big, a bunch of Dave Attell. Now there's a bunch of Tom Segura's, and there's about to be a bunch of Burt Kreischers, because these things take a little bit, but which is fine. I mean, that's, like I'm saying, I got a lot of Brian Regan in me. I fucking loved that dude, man, when I was starting out. So it's a constant battle for me. When I do think of something, I tend to think of things sometimes in his vein, and it's like, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. But when it's just thinking of stupid ideas, man. I'll just have a thought, and then I evolve it on stage, man. Because I'm living in that moment, I'll take risks, and I'll just try it on stage. And if it doesn't work, like, they already like me, it's not the fucking end of the world. Like, I could do something that doesn't work. Like, once I came to grips with that, it's like, I don't have to be afraid to try. And so I do a lot of improvising on stage. I mean, there's a lot of jokes. I mean, I don't listen to myself. We're supposed to. I recorded every show for, like, since 2014. I have a recording of every show I've done since 2014. Wow. I've never listened to one of them. I've never made it through one of them.
Are you
I've
wanted
started?
Do you like? Is it hate the sound of your voice, or
I hate the sound of my voice. I feel like I'm a garbage comedian. I feel like, because I have a lot of crutches. A lot of comedians have a lot of crutches. And
what are your crutches?
I mean, I do some laughing at myself, or some smiling. It's more smiling at myself, like, more, so I don't know. There's like little tricks guys use to make people laugh.
Isn't that a selling point though?
It is. I mean, it's all a way to sell it. Like, some guys will go, and then I told the guy, I'm only here to drink water, or what do? They go, they say at the end of it. Watch comedians that are like, and then I told the guy this and that, and then this other thing, and then like, it's always the punchline. They're always like being loud with over where people should be laughing. And I think it's a defense mechanism, because just in case they're not laughing, you have that there. You could act like, oh, this was a pause. So it's a little crutch. And because I produce a lot of records for this record company,
you hear it.
I hear it, and then a lot of comedians hear it for the first time. They've never had to listen to themselves that much, and then I give them a first cut of their album, and they listen to it, and they're like, Jesus, I say a lot, or like's a good one. Jesus, I say like a lot. Like, can you take some of those out of there? And I'll do it. I'll take, I'll fix a lot of it, but it's, so maybe it'd be a good idea for me to listen to myself more, but I know what I'm doing. I already know what I'm doing that are the tricks. It's just when I hear myself doing them, I feel douchey.
Yeah.
Because I know they're just tricks. And like, I don't give myself credit for the audience laughing, because it's a trick. I tricked you into laughing. It's like a magician really thinking he did magic. He didn't do magic. You just showed him a trick. You didn't really do magic. I'm not really doing magic up there. I'm just tricking them. I'm using the pacing of my voice, the loudness of my voice. I start small at the beginning and by the end, I'm ramping it up. And I kind of tell you when you should laugh. I mean, it's a whole bunch of trickery because
Yeah.
I do it every night. I do it every night.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well, it's just a matter of having them eating out of the palm of your hand and doing what you're telling them to do. Like you said, it's the control thing. Oh, Tony Baruman checking in. Yes, that is the Potsy scheme. Potsy scheme.
I don't know what that means.
The Potsy scheme. That's the Happy Days joke.
Oh, I don't. You're
Yeah,
scheme.
my
Okay.
Potsy scheme.
Yeah,
Potsy scheme. Do you use social media enough? Do you think?
No, man. That's like where I lack. I came up at a time where I was just supposed to be funny, man. And then word would spread. Again back to Brian Regan. Brian Regan. Nobody fucking knows who Brian Regan is, but that guy sells out fucking theaters 9 days a week. He's making cajillions of dollars. He's one of the biggest comics. He came into MGM one night at Brad Garrett's and bombed.
I was there. Yeah,
he bombed. That's amazing. Yeah, he bombed. So it's like, it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter who knows you, like how good you are. Like that's what I liked about him. He built his fan base by being a comedian. He never did TV, never did all that stuff. I always appreciated that. And I always likened what I wanted to try to do. I also, since this is a music podcast, and you'll probably hate me for this, I'm about to alienate a lot of your listeners.
But
I'm a huge Dave Matthews Band fan.
All right. So that was a great show,
All
folks.
But I appreciate how Dave Matthews became Dave Matthews.
Oh, yeah.
Dave Matthews he himself has obvious weaknesses, but he has like legitimately one of the best drummers that's ever fucking lived on planet Earth. Regardless of styles and genres and that, he's fucking amazing. He's what I fell in love with. I went to see Blues Traveler on the Horde tour. It was the Horde Festival or whatever. And Dave Matthews Band opened, and I had seen like the video for Ants Marching or whatever, and was like, whatever. And I'm telling you, dude, they opened up, and like 5 minutes in, I was like, who the fuck is this drummer? And Stefan Lasar, the bass player, like this rhythm section is fucking amazing. Like Dave sounds okay, but like the rhythm section, and I've always maintained that the weakest part of the Dave Matthews Band is Dave Matthews. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, he creates a lot of beautiful melodies in these things, but he also writes some like just fucking dumb lyrics, just lyrics where you're like, just come on, man, just don't insult my intelligence. You're Dave Matthews. You can do better than that. And I don't know. Like there's this one song where it's I forget the name, but he goes mountains and oceans and winters and rivers and stars. Like he sings that together, and like it's I forget what the name of the song is. It's like poppy and commercial, but like the whole thing, like the big thing is I wish I could remember the song, but he says this thing, and it's always just irritating. Like nobody has ever said those words together before. Rivers, mountains, and oceans, and rivers, and winters, and stars. Like when you're just like naming fucking things that exist.
Yeah, and
like,
where do the stars come into this?
So I was hanging out with some friends of mine, and I've seen a ton of shows, and they've seen a ton of shows. And this one friend of mine, I was telling her, I'm like, you know what fucking annoys me most though is Dave's lyrics, man. Like they're dog shit sometimes. Like fucking mountains and oceans and winters and rivers and stars. And she goes, oh, you're not gonna like this then. And she showed me she had that lyric, mountains and oceans, winters, rivers, and stars, tattooed across her shoulder.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And I was like, I don't take it back. It's dog shit. You have a dog shit lyric tattooed on you. Yeah.
Oh man, that's great. The reason I brought up social media, have you been following what Dice is doing?
No.
Oh my
What's he
God.
doing? Wearing pants that he shouldn't be wearing still? Shorts that go down to his ankles? Wearing Jinko jeans still at 50?
He's doing this bit where he'll be out in public in New York, and he'll just go up to somebody and go, I see you looking at the famous face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to take the picture?
You want the picture?
You want the picture?
Yeah, just ask. Yeah.
It's fucking gold.
I do love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like other comedians are jumping onto this too.
Oh, those fuckers.
Oh, it was hilarious because they're doing it in homage though.
Oh, okay.
Like Carrot Top did one here.
Oh, that's funny.
And there was nobody around.
No, that's not even possible. I mean, I guess it's possible younger people might not quite know who he is, but You got to know who fucking Carrot Top is, don't you? But I guess he hasn't done television since like the Leno years. Like he used to do Leno
It's
all
been
the
a
time.
long
He hasn't
time.
been on television. He's just been making his money here.
Yeah.
He's great, dude. He's fucking great.
I haven't seen him yet.
I mean, I've watched all the stuff. I went on a Carrot Top thing because everybody badmouthed him, and I was always like, well, comedy clubs need everything. They can't all
Yeah.
just be fucking. Now I wish I would have never said it, but I was like, can't all just be white guys. Now they're like, no, can't even be white guys at all. Just so you know. Turns out I was wrong, and we're not wanted at all. But again, I forgot what I was talking about.
Carrot Top.
Yeah, so I went on a deep dive and I watched everything, like all of his appearances on TV, and fucking I dare you to tell me that guy's not funny, dude. He's got stage presence like a motherfucker. The stuff is clever. He's Stephen Wright, but visually. He's a visual Stephen Wright. He's writing jokes with objects.
I
It's not easy, dude.
I think the deal is with Carrot Top is I think for a long time people got like me, I got so into Bill Hicks that it's like, come on.
Yeah, I mean,
but as you grow up and you learn to, it's like, okay, that's fucking funny.
yeah, well, and look, it might not be funny to me, but it's obviously funny to other people. You know what I hate is when when people say, oh, that comic, I don't like him, he's not funny. That dude's not funny. Or even when comics say it, like, Sebastian Maniscalco is not funny. Go fuck yourself. How the fuck can you say a guy that literally sells out goddamn airplane hangars? Like, this guy sells out 20,000 seaters.
Yeah.
You can honestly say the words, that guy's not funny, and you expect me to take you seriously? Like,
Yeah.
he's not funny to you, you dumb
Exactly.
fuck. He's
Exactly.
fucking hilarious. He's great. He's so good. People go over and over to see him. He's amazing.
Isn't it weird though that you talk about selling out airplane hang? There's people selling out fucking stadiums.
Oh, dude, Kreischer's fucking murder. Kreischer
Yeah.
and fucking I said his name earlier. Tom Segura, dude.
Yeah. Well,
But you just never know.
that fluffy dude.
Oh yeah, Gabriel Iglesias.
Yeah.
I almost call him Gonzalez. Who's Gonzalez?
That's racist.
It's probably a comic named Gabriel Gonzalez.
Probably.
Yeah, he's murdering it, dude. He's amazing. There's a lot of people. What's the other guy that does the Indian guy from Canada? I always forget his name.
I don't.
Russell
know.
Peters.
Okay.
Dude, Russell Peters is selling out like 80,000 seat places in like
insane.
Singapore and shit like that. Like, well, I don't know if it's Singapore. I don't know a lot about the world, but he's doing like tours around the world, like huge venues around the world. And he could walk down the street in Vegas and nobody'd fucking know who he was. And that's the thing the internet has taught us, is there's an audience for everything. I mean,
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
and like, I'll admit, when I started with this record label, like they sent me something to edit. It was some comedian, and I remember thinking, like, this guy kind of fucking sucks. You know what I mean? He's like not that great or whatever. And I remember going to one of my bosses, one of the founders of the label, and I was like, guys, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but like, this guy kind of sucks, And he goes, and I go, I don't think he's that original, and he's just not that good. And my boss is like, listen, man, like, this guy, the big thing with this guy was he was clean. He was, so we're gonna make a lot of money with this guy, and it's not about what we think is funny. He goes, if we as a record label only signed comedians that we all agreed were funny, we would have 6 comedians signed to this record label. You have to just, we're putting it out there to the world. So like, whatever it is, if it's funny, it can't be garbage.
Right.
It can't be fucking garbage. But by my comedian standards, because I think I'm better than everyone, because I'm a comedian, I was judgy at first. And now I appreciate everything for what it is. And I've listened to, I've produced a whole bunch. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about it. I did a bunch of Netflix albums, where I took the audio from the specials on Netflix and turned them into, actually a lot of them vinyl versions. Or
Oh, wow. That's badass.
Because they have to be able to be for sale to be able to be eligible for a Grammy. So
right.
A lot of these artists would have them produced or whatever. So I did a bunch of those. I did all of this old school comedy, that I was telling you about earlier. And it's really informed me. Basically what it's informed me of over the last 4 years is that everything I'm doing, for the most part, except the new stuff that I'm kind of proud of, most of what I'm doing is fucking garbage. Like, my stand-up is horseshit. I'm garbage. I'm no better than anyone else. I'm not doing anything anybody hasn't done a million times. I sound like a million other guys. Like I never found my voice until recently. I think until post COVID is where I kind of dug in and I kind of figured it out. Not that I wasn't like completely pretending before, but I was kind of pretending. I was trying to be what I thought. I was trying to be what I thought a comedian should be, and I had a nice thing going now. But now I'm just myself, and whatever happens, happens. And I'm way more comfortable up there, and I live in it. I immerse myself in it. To me, I hate to sound all hippy dippy, but it's about the energy, man.
Yeah.
Like it's the energy exchange, man. Like I love it.
Back to the writing thing. Do you like when you're crafting something? Is it more of you think it's funny, or is part of it, even if you might not think it's funny, they might think it's funny?
That's a really good question. I mean, I think I got it. No, I don't think I gotta think it. I was gonna say I think I have to think it's funny, but it's a trick.
Yeah.
So it's like that's like asking a magician, do you need to think the trick is real for the audience to think it's real? It's like, no, it's a trick. I'm tricking you into laugh. I'm telling you, like when you watch a good, and I'm not saying I'm a good comedian, but when you watch a really good comedian, fucking Mark Norman. Mark Norman is fucking perfection, dude. He's conversational, yet it's all brilliant fucking jokes. I don't do jokes. I'm like half stories, half fucking mugging with my dumb face, and like I'm cheating. That motherfucker's doing it legit. He's like writing amazing jokes. He's very likable. He's personable. He's not condescending, so he gets away with a lot of like really dark shit, like Nazi jokes and things like that. And he gets away with a lot of crazy stuff, but the dude's an amazing writer, and he's just so fucking smooth up there. But that's him. That's who he is. He's not trying to be anyone.
I don't think you say you're cheating. I don't think so, because it's an act.
I mean, yeah,
that's part of the act. That's part of the act.
When you watch like, but every now and then, man, you see real comedians. You see like Ian Bagg. You see, when I saw fucking. I mean, Chad Daniels is the one that comes to my mind. Chad Daniels should be, if it was based on talent, Chad Daniels would be the biggest fucking comedian on planet Earth. He's fucking amazing. And I suck his dick all the time like this, but he's got a bunch of albums, a bunch of specials, and he was like the biggest fucking comic on Pandora, selling out everywhere. Like he's amazing. He's an amazing writer. There's so many of them, I forgot your question. I was just bragging about Chad.
I think it was the act part of it.
Yeah. So a guy like Chad Daniels, I'll watch a guy like him, and I'll just feel like a fraud, dude. Like, I'll give you an example. I came to post COVID. We did an album with him, a special with him. I think it was like his third special with 800 Pound Gorilla Pictures or whatever. And then I see him at my home club. He's at my home club. Like it's like fucking 2 months. And this is post COVID. This is not everything's open full.
Yeah.
2 months after I see him at the club in Appleton, and I said, hey man, I can't wait to see you. I was gonna see if you wanted me to bring the recording equipment down and mic the room, because I'm sure you got a whole new hour by now. I was being sarcastic, dude. He's like, first of all, I do have a whole new hour, and it's not quite ready yet. But dude, then he went up and he did a fucking amazing hour, like a brand new fucking hour in 2 months. Just he's fucking a natural dude. Like, and for me, I'll say it here on this podcast. I've been some of the core of some of my bits that you'll see me do when I'm on the road. I've done for fucking 15 years. These motherfuckers ain't doing shit that they've done 15 years ago. Bill Burr's always. I'm definitely not that I'll ever be on the level of these guys, but as far as writing, you asked me about writing.
Yeah.
I don't write enough. I'm not like these. I'm not a real comedian, because sometimes I feel like real life got in the way a little bit. You know what I mean? And it's hard to be. You got to tough it out, and I toughed it out. And it's not to say that I failed. I never like to think about it like I failed, because I have a body of work, and all I ever wanted was to be respected by other comedians. All I ever wanted was not to be seen as a fucking hack, and not to be seen as a fucking joke stealer. Like I never wanted.
Yeah. That's the big one.
That's why I've always wanted, and especially with the job I do now with editing records and producing comedy records, like it has to be from my life experience, or I don't do it on stage. Like if I hadn't muttered that day, oh, my front hurts, and thought, well, that's funny, I wouldn't have done it on stage. Like it has to come from my life. Now that way I know I didn't pick it up from a fucking evening at the Improv from fucking 1983.
Yeah, yeah.
Some guy with a skinny tie, but
Well, I think it's the thing with comedy, just like with music, it's hard because what hasn't been done, what topic hasn't been
that's
tackled.
true. I mean,
it's just all about putting your own twist on it.
But in the 80s, like, we talk about, like, I've seen it throughout the years with all these projects I've got to work on. Back in the day, like, it was okay to be kind of hacky. It was okay to be kind of I don't know, like recycle comedy. Like a lot of people did. Like everybody had a Michael Jackson joke. Everybody had a Mike Tyson joke. Everybody had a fucking Princess Diana joke. Like throughout the years, you could like and here's some things I had to cut out. What, like everybody had AIDS jokes. Everybody had gay jokes about, and they would use like fag. Occasionally you'd hear queer, but never more than like fag. But fag was thrown around a lot. And we kind of clean up some of that stuff. I kind of clean up some of that stuff. For some people, it's like it's a bad look. It's if the bit didn't need it, I'm not going to leave that in there. I'm going to save you in the editing process. But it's just cool watching throughout the. It seemed like it was real hacky for a while in the 80s, and then in the 90s, believe it or not, I think it's when that whole alternative comedy thing came around with like the Janine Garofalo, the David Cross.
Oh, yeah.
I think those guys actually re-injected a little more. Like you had to be a little more clever. You couldn't just be whack-a-doodle-doo with a tie and a suit. You had to have some substance to it. I think they started the move towards substance. And then I think people move. I mean, no one does it better than Chappelle as far as substance. The guy's saying shit,
Right.
But I don't even think he's a comic anymore. I think he's transcended. We have to make another category for what Dave Chappelle is doing because it's so big, it's so grand, it's so huge, it's on such a big scale that I'm talking about fucking trimming my pubes and like dumb shit like this, just to make people laugh over a few drinks. There's a huge difference between what I'm doing and what that motherfucker's doing, and what a lot of guys are doing.
Right, but it's still. It still serves the purpose of what it. You know what I mean? It
still is what it is. I still get to play.
It's entertainment. It's fucking entertainment. Like I think that's what musicians, comics, what we all have to realize. Don't take it so goddamn seriously. It's fucking be serious, but don't take it so fucking seriously because it's all entertainment. We're there to entertain people and to make people laugh, make people smile.
That's true. But now, as you're saying that, I was thinking that's not all it is because it's like you asked earlier about social media. I'm fucking terrible on it, dude. I do comedy fucking a ton. I'm always making shit up. I'm an improviser. I can crowd work with the fucking best of them. You want crowd work videos? I'll fucking cut 10 minutes out of tonight, but I'm too fucking lazy.
Yeah.
I'm too fucking lazy to cut up the video and do the thing and put the thing. And then every day, hey, what's up, fam? What's up, fam on fucking Instagram? I'm fucking 50, dude. I can't be running my own social media. The only thing I could think is if I could find some young hot girl to do it. And like you can run my shit, but you can put your shit on there too. You know what I mean? You can promote your shit on there if she's a young hot girl, but you got to run my shit too. Like promote my shit. I don't care. I need somebody to do it for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, it's tough. It's like, and you want to talk about lazy. I've got, I don't know if you saw it, but the Almighty Board of Wisdom hanging on the wall. And I used to post, it's just a fucking chalkboard. I would write something on there every day. Yeah. I'd take a picture and I would post it. And I haven't done it in a couple of weeks. And the one that's still up there is throwing away hot dog water should be a crime.
I thought you were going to say it was like be more consistent or something.
Oh, no. It's just random funny shit. And now I have to go back and look at all those because there's probably material there.
Yeah, that's the other thing about like when I do improvise and I make shit up and I do crowd work on stage. I mean, I throw away a lot of bits by not listening to those hundreds of shows that I have recorded. There's a lot of material in there that I could, like things that I improvised or like better endings to jokes that I lost because I can't listen to it the next day. There's something about it. That's another thing. If I had someone that could just do that for me too, like write down everything new I said last night because I can't listen to it. I've been doing it 27 years, dude. And I still cannot fucking listen to myself. I'm lying if I say I never did it because every now and then if I had like a crazy heckler or something, I might listen to it.
Yeah.
Maybe to see if it was worth going back and getting video for it or something. But
well, I know you're on at 8 tonight, right?
I am, yeah.
Okay, it's 7:00.
Oh, so I should probably go.
Yeah. I mean, we could sit here and talk for fucking 3 hours.
I mean, that's the thing, man. Great. When it comes to stand-up comedy, it's literally the only thing I can talk about, but I can talk about it fucking forever. That's what I love about comedy. I love the camaraderie. Like every comic I've ever met, I'm friends with.
Yeah.
Like I have friends of mine that I consider friends for 27 years that I've seen twice. But we did a road gig in Tulsa one time and had to share a condo for 3 days. And you learn a lot about a person when you share a condo and you do comedy together for 3 days. So I was never in a gang. I never played sports. I never fit in with anybody. I was kind of friends with most people. But when I found comedy and realized like, oh, people are just going to let me in the group and they're not going to judge me. And in fact, the things that make me weird can be a benefit in comedy. And all these other weirdos like me are doing it. I'm like, okay. And just everyone I met was like, what's up, man? Like, oh, where are you working? How long you been doing it? Like, we all ask how long you been doing it. And I've seen comics be shitty to young comics. I've seen it throughout my years of doing comedy. And I'm always talking to open mic. Like, you're a fucking human being that just chose the same profession. Like, if I'm a plumber, I'm not going to be a cock to the guy that just started fucking plumbing. I'm going to be cool with him. I'm going to help him. I'm going to help him. I'm going to help him become a better plumber because he makes plumbers look better if he's fucking good at it. But a lot of comics are dicks. They're dicks to young guys. And like, I used to be that young guy, and some guys were dicks to me. And I remember those guys. You know?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of open mic comics are dicks to each other regardless. I mean, you go to open mics and they just kind of sit there. They don't even fucking pay attention.
Well, at that level, like open mics in front of other comedians, like I never had to do it. I thank the baby Jesus in heaven. I don't think I'd have done comedy. I had a lot easier route. I did that club packed every night, full audience. I just did guest sets. It was stupid because I did that for 2 years, and then I got on the road and realized I had no idea how to do comedy because I could only do it for a sold out crowd because only 33% of the audience is going to laugh at you. When there's 300 people, that's 100 fucking people. You feel like you're doing something.
Yep, exactly.
But when there's 9 and it's only 3 people or 1,
I've been there, man. Mike Merryfield, he's at the LA Comedy Club at the Strat here in Las Vegas until Saturday.
Yeah,
until Saturday. You know,
until Sunday.
Until Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sunday night's the last show.
Yep.
All right, cool.
And then I'll be back. I'll be back at Brad Garrett's at the MGM 4th of July week.
Nice. You know what I love about that? I can walk there.
That's perfect. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
You see the Luxor out your window. That's pretty fucking rad, dude.
Oh, it's fucking great, man. I fucking love it.
Nothing more Vegas than that.
You got any other dates coming up you need to
Probably nothing. No, I don't know. You can go to MikeMerryfield.com. I don't think there's much on there.
Okay.
If you want to hire me or something, that'd be cool. This is the other problem. I don't fucking promote myself.
Yeah, that helps. I promote the shit out of myself and it still doesn't do shit. But
lazy. That's the other thing I realized. I stopped promoting about my gigs 4 years ago on the internet. It has not changed. The amount of people that come to the show. Nobody comes to see me on purpose, dude. I did my hometown recently and actually sold a few tickets, but that's it.
Yeah.
If it's not my hometown.
Yeah, that's the thing with comedy. People just go to comedy to see comedy.
And now young people find everything on the internet, and I'm not a presence on there. Yep. So
well, you can always fix
that's
it.
why I sell crack on the side to make ends meet.
You know, you sell the good shit. All right, let me hit the outro music here. Mike Merryfield. Check him out, MikeMerryfield.com. Of course, you can check this show out anywhere you get your podcasts, on YouTube as well. And tell your friends, tell your pals. If you do like the show, like what I do, it is very, very easy to support. At Real Izzy Presley is the Venmo. IzzyPresley at Yahoo.com is the PayPal. $ Izzy Presley is the Cash App. I also do accept carrier pigeon, smoke signal, and very large bags of cash. We'll see you next week. I believe I have, finally, Danny the Count Coker, Counting Cars, in studio next week. I am very excited about that. We will see you then. And then, hey, if you want to go on a cruise, on the Blue Cruise coming up at the end of the month, I think there's still a couple cabins available on thebluecruise.com. Alan Parsons, all those great bands from that 70s era. You will freaking love it. And, of course, then you can look at me half naked on the pool stage and the pool deck. I know. All right. We'll see you next week. Don't forget, my name is Izzy Presley. What I lack in talent, I make up for in the cock.
Nice sign off. I've never heard that.
Thank you.